Hey, Dusty. Alex had kind of a difficult first half of the year, and he really turned it on after the All-Star break. He's had a strong playoffs. Where did you see him kind of turn his season around? Anything specific you can kind of point to?
Well, the main thing is that he stayed healthy and stayed in the lineup. And, that was a problem the last couple of years, before that. And, he never really got going for a couple of years there. But this year, I think he played more games than anybody, and that gave him time to get his stroke, get his legs together. And, he's been remarkable in the second half and into these playoffs. He didn't have a very good playoff, bless you. He didn't have a very good playoff last year. And so, he's a big game guy. And, he enjoys, he's a gym rat that enjoys baseball as much as anything.
Christy in the third row.
What did you think about Framber overall, and especially how he was able to shake off that mess in the fourth inning and finish the game well?
Well, great question. He was great. He came out. You don't see him throwing 95 consistently like that. And then he found his breaking ball in the middle innings, and he was changing speeds on his breaking ball, and he was outstanding. And you always worry about a young player being able to shake off something like that. But Maldi, the guys on the team, they told him, hey, forget it. And you still got the lead, go out and pitch, and he might have shut him out had he not had his own miscues. But that's shows you. We all got something to work on, and he's been working on it, and so he'll be better. And I tell you, he was outstanding, and that's a heck of a lineup that he pitched against tonight.
Stay in the third row.
Abreu in the eighth against the top of their order. What's given you just the confidence in him this postseason?
Well, the confidence comes from what he did during the season. And, he's matured. He's matured 100% in his confidence and, his command of the strike zone. And, we didn't have Montero tonight. And we weren't really sure about Presley either. And, we got a couple guys that we could have turned to, but we felt that we kind of went with the hot hand, and the hitters they had up, especially the left-handed hitters, he's been tough. He's been very tough, and that's what gives us confidence. The better. We're in a performance game, and the better you perform, you climb up the ladder and in the areas of where we can use them.
We'll stay in the third row with Brian.
Dusty, every game that you guys have played in the playoffs, it's been tight, it's been close. I think we mentioned pregame, it could have gone either way. What are you seeing from your team that's allowing you to find a way to win these games? Sometimes it's power, sometimes it's defense, sometimes it's pitching, but collectively it's just been overall very sharp baseball through all 5 games overall.
Well, the playoffs, you're going to be facing number ones and number twos and number threes every once in a while. You're going to be facing their top pitchers. They're not going to – starters usually are going to go a little shorter and go into their quality in their bullpen. You're going to get the high leverage guys that you would normally get during the season. You'll get them in the middle of the ball game. Look at Loaizaga. What time of the game he came in. So, they're going to be close ball games. We're a high contact team, which helps us a lot. And, once you start winning these close games like we did down the stretch in most of the years, went in our favor, because I think our one-loss record and one-loss game in one-runs games was high. And once you get used to that, and a lot of that, when you win these close games, it's pitching and defense. And, usually we don't beat ourselves. And so, we don't care what the score was or is, just as long as we touch home plate one more time than they do.
Danielle in the third row.
Dusty, you guys have pitched Judge really well so far this series. Well, I'm not trying to jinx it. well, two big at bats tonight. When
Right.
there was a runner on, Fromber got him out in the 5th, and then Abreu in the 8th. Just what have been the keys so far, and how do you think that your pitchers have done, not being too intimidated by him and all that he is?
Well, I mean, he's the biggest dude in baseball and the most powerful guy in baseball. I mean, you'd rather not have to face him with any man on base, and we've escaped, so far. And, you'd rather not have to face Judge in those situations. But, sooner or later you're going to have to face him. You can't pitch around him all the time. They got some very dangerous guys coming up behind him. That's the power of how your team or their team sets their lineup. So, like I said, we're not going to mess with Judge too much. We just kind of leave him alone.
Mark?
Dusty, some thoughts about going up there now, up 2-0 in the series.
Well, I mean, my thoughts are, we're going to try to get that third one, and because that's the only thing that you can control is, that one game at a time, that third game. So we're just going to try to play the same way we've been playing. Hopefully, we get some guys hot. We got a few guys hot, and we'd like to get everybody hot before it's over with.
And we'll stay in the first row here.
Dusty, as the ninth inning began, at what point did you notice the fan coming onto the field? Was there concern for what obviously might happen with Altuve and concern that it might impact how the flow of the game or the inning would go?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice it until the crowd started going crazy, and I looked out, and, I mean, what he did was wrong, but what, he looked harmless. It looked like he was doing it out of love and respect for Altuve. And then I think Altuve handled it, very well. I mean, you hate to see that happen because, Presley was ready, and then he had to back off and had to, regroup himself because, when you're coming out of the bullpen and they're playing that song, his song, I mean, you sort of get into a flow of things. You take your warm-up pitches and then you're ready to go. So that kind of broke. But, he's been around a long time and he handled it well.
Daniel in the second row.
Dusty, not to state the obvious, but just how important are home runs for what you guys are doing right now? I think, especially at this time of year in the playoffs, I think most of your run production, even dating back to the Seattle series, has come from the home run.
Well, I mean, those guys over there, I mean, most of their runs come on home runs or walks after you walk somebody a home run. So, you hate to live and die by the home run, but you'll take them, when you get them. It's hard to, you don't see many rallies with 3 or 4 hits in a row, period. It's the same way during the regular season. I mean, it's a different game now. And like I said, it's very important when you hit the home runs that they're meaningful, and the scores are such that most home runs that are hit are meaningful. So, you can't just hit home runs when you feel like it, because if so, we'd hit like 7, 8 a night.
The last quick one from Steve, because Alex is outside.
Hey, can you talk about Tucker's catch on the ball in the 8th
Yeah.
that Judge hit at the track?
Yeah, I mean, Tuck, I mean, he's one of the best right fielders in the world. And you never know in this ballpark if a ball is going to go out of right field or not. I mean, it's a short porch, short fence, and, Judge can reach any part of the ballpark. Guys like him and Stanton and those guys, it doesn't really matter where they play, but a lot of their power is the opposite field. And, we didn't know. I mean, at the time, Howie Kendrick was just in here, and they were still talking about Howie hitting that home run off the right field foul pole and when he was with Washington. So, I'm just glad that it stayed in the park.
Dusty, thanks so much. We'll see you in New York.
Yep. Okay.